How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at another one of my complete collection videos. For those of you guys who've been keeping up with the channel, this is where I take a look at the physical media for each release in a series, as well as do mini reviews for each movie. I've done this for quite a few things, Child's Play, Alien, Return of the Living Dead, and today we're going to be doing one that I've been wanting to do for a bit. This is the Mad Max Complete series. I have all 4 films on Blu-ray here, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at each of them. So let's go ahead and dive right into the first one here. This is the original Mad Max, the Maximum Force of the Future, and this is the collector's edition. And if we flip it to the spine there, you can see that this is a Scream Factory release. Scream Factory is really cool. They put out a lot of really classic movies onto to Blu-ray, and in some cases some harder to find ones, but this is actually one of the easier to find Scream Factory releases. I found it at Best Buy for only like $6, which was crazy. But anyway, we got this nice painting on the front. We get Max there and his car and the long road beneath him, and it's a really cool painting. It's one thing I really do appreciate about Scream Factory is these nice original covers. But if we open it up, there's the disc with a frame from near the end of the movie in monochrome. But we take it off, and we see that not only do they have a nice new cover, but if we wanted to, we could flip the paper and put it to the classic poster for the movie. And I don't know which one I like more. The poster is, of course, classic, but it's not super movie accurate. And the new painting is really, really good. So I like both options. They're both really cool. Flip it to the back, you get a picture of Max there and a little bit about the plot. But yeah, this movie is a case of a lower budget movie doing something as well as Hollywood does, if not better. And in this case, it's car chases. Mad Max, he's set in a not too distant future. There's great global crises. This is it's dystopian, but not quite apocalyptic yet. The world hasn't quite ended here, and Max works for the Hall of Justice, which we can see painted in the background, which I always thought was kind of funny. It reminds me a little bit of Super Friends, but him and he's got his fellow police officers, but there's also gangs roaming the street, which he has to take down. And when he does take them down, or part of them, the rest of the gang gets really mad that the police are interfering in their affairs, and you get this cool revenge story, but it's revenge from each side, and they form this great big feud with these really awesome car chases. And despite being a super low budget movie, you get really cool chases and explosions and action. I felt like the movie Evil Dead, a low budget movie that does horror and gore really well and developed a cult classic. This is kind of like that, a low budget movie that does action super well and developed quite the cult following, and it is really, really cool there. An Australian film as well, so that's pretty cool to see a foreign film do so well. But that being said, that is kind of a bit of the story. You see the next one we have coming up, The Road Warrior, or as it's known in almost all the other parts of the world, Mad Max 2. You see, the thing with this one is the original Mad Max did get an American release, but the thing is the Australian accents were really thick. They actually tried to redub the movie, and although I haven't heard it, the dub was apparently quite bad, and the original Mad Max didn't get super big of a following in America. So when Part 2 came out, they rebranded it as The Road Warrior, so you wouldn't necessarily know it was a sequel. Then when this got really popular, you got a re-release of Mad Max, and that's how people in America got to know the first one after the second one, which is kind of weird. But yeah, the Road Warrior, case of the sequel going bigger and better, and yeah, it's probably the best one of the series. By this point, the world has completely and totally collapsed, and you get Max as a lone figure wandering the apocalyptic wasteland, and he becomes sort of this legendary figure who shows up and has a story with people in need and then moves on, and that sort of becomes the theme for the rest of them, where he becomes like this post-apocalyptic legendary character, and you can put him in any number of adventures there. And you get, yeah, this small town, and they're surrounded. You see the small town has a gas, what do you call the things that pump it out of the ground, a pump. And so they have a bunch of gas, and there's a gang of marauders who have all the cars and the power, and they have the fighting force, and they want the gas, and they're keeping them out of they're keeping the town locked in the town so no one can leave, or else they're going to go and get hit by all these marauders. And Max is like, hey, if you give me some gas, I'll let your tanker of gas get out, and you can escape this little town and get past this gang. And you get tons of crazy action and fighting. The big ending piece of this movie is the classic, the tanker chase scene, and you get kind of a small photo of him up here, but you get Lord Humongous, which is this guy with like a Jason mask on, really crazy. The costuming in this, everybody's going nuts, and they're all wearing crazy post-apocalyptic costuming. But yeah, I think this is the one where Max has like 5 lines. He becomes, a really silent and stoic character. But yeah, really cool. Just a simple, hey Max, can you help our town escape? And it's really fun, and the chases are great. This is a lot of people argue between this and Fury Road as being the best of the series, and it's really up to your opinion, but I really do like this one, and just talking about it makes me want to rewatch it. Anyway, moving on to the third one, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. We have the title of Mad Max back in America. So yeah, that last one was The Road Warrior. Everywhere else it was Mad Max 2. Some places now you're starting to see it branded as Mad Max 2 The Road Warrior. But this one, because audiences in America were familiar with the character, they got Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, so his name's back in the title. And this has Mel Gibson and Tina Turner as the leader of this new community. So once again, Max is stumbling through the desert, and he comes across this place called Bartertown. And in Bartertown, you get Auntie Entity, who is Tina Turner's character, and she's the head of Bartertown, and she makes a deal with Max saying, hey Max, if you help me eliminate my problem, I'll give you what you need to keep going. And her problem is there's this character named Master Blaster, which is actually 2 characters. Blaster, who's a big giant, and Master, who's a hyper-intelligent dwarf that like rides around on his back. And the thing is, Master is so smart, Tina Turner's worried that he'll take over the community, and she says, hey Max, fight him in the title Thunderdome there, so that I can have control of this community. And of course, along the way, Mad Max goes on adventures, seeing all throughout this community the underbelly, how they make fuel, which is a really interesting way. And of course, you get these kids on the cover. Along the way, in the desert, a bit away, Max finds a group of children, and they're from a plane crash, and their parents went to get help, and they've been stranded and formed their own society. And when Max comes back, they think he's the plane pilot, and it's this other little side piece. Now this one is probably the worst of the series. And the main reason for that is it doesn't focus on car chases. I think there are a little bit, but throughout this movie there's not terribly many car chases, which turns out that's like the heart of a Mad Max movies. You gotta have car chases. But that being said, there's quite a bit of world building and a bunch of interesting characters, and Bartertown's really interesting. So there's a lot going on, and in turn it kind of becomes underrated. People kind of discount this movie, but it is actually really fun with a lot going on, and I really did enjoy it. Still probably the weakest of the series, but really fun with interesting characters, and the Thunderdome scene is some good action there. So yeah, I'd say definitely still check it out, even though this isn't the biggest one, and a fun movie. But yeah, if only they had implemented a few more car chases, it would have been great. But anyway, after that one, you got a long pause, and then eventually a belated sequel, Mad Max Fury Road. Now, normally when you get a belated sequel, it's not going to be anywhere near as good, and you're recasting the lead. It's not Mel Gibson anymore, it's Tom Hardy. You'd have to worry a little bit about this, but this one actually came out really good, and it was a huge hit. Large part of that is you still have George Miller, who directed all the previous ones. He's still here directing, and you get to see a consistent vision for the franchise. It's really cool. You get Charlize Theron there playing Furiosa, who there's a warlord, which he's not actually on the cover there. You get a warlord, Imitant Joe, and she's stolen his wife's, and they're trying to make a run for it. And Max sort of gets swept up in this haphazardly, and it's a big chase scene all throughout the desert. And with this one, color and cinematography much more than the other Mad Max movies. There's actually a black and white version of this. He almost thought about making the movie in black and white, and then just for fun they actually did release a black and white physical media version. I don't have that because I really don't see the point. The colors in this movie are so beautiful. I don't know why you'd want a black and white version, because the colors are really cool. This whole movie looks amazing. Plus, it's chase scenes done practically still. The old ones, they had to do them practically. In this one, it could have just been a CGI mess, but the fact that everything works, it really does look amazing. And a big chase scene, like 20-30 vehicles at least, going pretty much the whole movie. This was really cool, and yeah, like I said, it's one of those movies that you just hear, oh, it's a belated sequel and they recast the lead. This should have been bad, but it is really good, high energy, crazy stuff. And yeah, just talking about these movies makes me want to rewatch all of them. But yeah, this one was pretty good. I might do individual reviews of these later, but for now, that's a quick look at the series, and just talking about it, yeah, I do want to rewatch all of them now. But they are really fun movies, cool, crazy action movies, and, I'm more of a horror geek. I'm not so much of an action geek, but the fact that these are all kind of, a little weird because they're post-apocalyptic really does make them pretty fun and give them their own vision, and I really do like all these movies. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You're really helping the channel out. I'll put a relevant playlist on the bottom if you guys want to see more from me. You can find more there. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom.